Welcome back, everybody. Hopefully you guys had an awesome weekend and are having a very nice Monday morning. I figured that I would show you guys all of the boas. I know sometimes Mondays can be a drag, so hopefully seeing some nice boa constrictors can make your day just a little bit better. First, I just want to say thank you to everybody that's subscribing. Thanks for all the positive feedback that you guys are giving me, all the people that are watching the video, even if you are not subscribing. But I want to take a shout out to Mike. He's a Patreon member, and he's been donating to the room and to the snakes, helping with food, bedding, and materials to build cages. So I really appreciate that. So I have a ton of boas. Well, to me, it's a lot. So this might take a little while to get through them, but hopefully you guys will enjoy it. If you've been around, I'm sure you've seen all of them, but if you're new, you get to check out all the boas that I do own. So this is my 2017 Ghost Het Albino Boa Constrictor. And she is extremely nice. I think she is one of the most, beautiful looking snakes that I do own as of right now. I like all my snakes, but I do have a really special spot for the ghosts. I think they're very, very underrated just because they're not a crazy color. They don't have crazy patterns, but I love how, I guess I could say that it's a simple look, but there's a lot going on because there's a lot of speckling all over her belly, on top of her, and then the color tone. I love how it's the gray mixed with the black, mixed with the white sides. And she's just super, super sweet. Really nice animal. Highly suggest you guys try to find a ghost boa. I think, all these people are going towards really, really bright colors. And I think the new trend right now is going for the IMGs, which I love personally. But if you guys want to see something with good contrast and really good, saddles on them, the ghost boa is really nice way to go. So, wish I could hang out more with each and every one of them, but we got a lot of snakes to go through. Alright, this is my 2016 Albino. She's a call edition, or call bloodline I should say, but she's definitely getting really, really big. She's very beautiful. I love how she's turning out bright yellows, bright oranges on her peaks and on her saddles. Her tail hasn't faded out completely, which is awesome. Who knows what will happen in the future, in the next couple of years. I'm sure it might fade out totally into where you barely see it, and then you can still see the whites going down the sides. But I tend to feed all of my boas on the smaller side just because I don't want them to get too big too fast or too fatty or be obese. So I basically feed all of my big boas one medium rat every 14 to, I'd say 16 or 17 days. And I think that's working out for them very, very well. So I do like the albinos. A lot of people don't like them because they do lose their color. They are extremely bright when they're babies. You can see all of their patterns. But then of course after just about 2 or 3 years, they lose almost everything on top of the body. But I'm okay with that. So she is definitely very, very big. So 2016, I don't even think she's even up to size to breed yet, honestly. I think a lot of people breed their snakes in about 4 years, their boas. I'm not sure, but she's definitely one of the snakes that loves to be held. Her and the ghost boa are probably, as the bigger snakes go, or the bigger boas go, I think they're the ones that I trust the most. Alright, speaking of trusting, this girl right here and my Argentine that I'll pull out next, they definitely love to throw an attitude trying to get out of the cage, but so far, once they are actually out, I really haven't had any issues with them. Knock on wood. I haven't had them strike at me, try to bite me as I hold them. You know, that's one of the things with boas. They definitely have different personalities for each snake, which I really, really like. So some can be super calm, super relaxing. Some can be really wild. Some can just want to try to kill you every second. Always, they always keep you on your toes, that's for sure. But she's big. She's getting huge. So this is the biggest snake that I own so far, and shockingly, this is the biggest snake that I've ever held in my entire life. So this is just the common boa constrictor, not to be confused with the red tail, which I do have two smaller ones that I'll show you guys. But you know, you can pick these up for about $100 online at reptile shows, and they make perfect pets. I honestly love the look of the commons. I like the morphs, I like the true red tails, but I really, really like the commons. They have good colorations on their body. As you can see, they get a really good size, and she's 2016 as well, so she still has a lot to grow. I'll guess she gets at least 7 feet, maybe 8. But even her tail, for a normal, her tail is still has a lot of color to it. I wouldn't say it's really bright, but you know, we can still see the contrast of the whites, the blacks, even some of the reds, or the rusty red. Seeing that it's not a true red, but I still think they are very, very beautiful as they are. But once you get them out and handle them, most of the time they calm down. Most of the time they just get curious about what's going on in the room. They love going up to the ceiling. They love checking out the camera. And if you can get her out in the sun, even the commons, they can get some really good rainbow iridescence on their skin. So taking them outside is really fun to see that. And getting them back in the cages can be a challenge after you have them out, because they always want to stay out and hang out with you. Oh man, now I gotta get out the Argentine. And one of the two broke the LED lights from this side down, so it's dark in here. I know the Argentine 100% hates me, so she probably was the culprit, trying to escape. But I have had the Argentine fly out when I dropped the plexiglass, so I always use a hook. And I always try to hook them out anyways, the bigger snakes, just because I don't want to have any issues or problems. Since I am pretty much the only person, well, I am the only person in the house, so just got to keep it safe. So this is 2016, 2017 Argentine boa. It's a pure BCO. She is not mixed with a common or a red tail. A lot of people do throw in those so it brightens up the tail a little bit. You can see the patterns a little bit better, but I just love the look of the basic black and white Argentine boa. So the prices have skyrocketed on these. I bought her about 4 years ago at $200. Now looking online, I can't find them anywhere under than probably $900, which I think is insane. But Argentines do get big. I think they get 8 feet, maybe 9. They definitely get very, very heavy. I've read they get heavier than the common boa, so I guess we'll just have to see how true that is once she keeps on growing. So again, I feed them pretty lean, so it'll probably take her at least a couple more years to max out on her size. Even on her weight, it'll probably take, I don't know, 3 or 4 years for her to really bulk up. But again, all 4 of the boas that I just showed you guys, I do feed them on medium rats. A lot of them could take larges, but they're doing very, very well on the medium, so I don't want to stress it and try to just, you know, pound bigger prey into them if they don't need it. But we can see on her tail, you can still see a little bit of a pattern, a little bit of the saddles and peaks, but mostly it's blacked out. So I guess if you guys are looking for an IMG, not all IMGs get jet black, but if you're wanting one and can't afford one, I think the Argentine would be a great way to go because, as you can see, very, very dark on the belly, but you still get a lot of the white speckling, and you can still see the patterns on her body. So very, very happy that I bought her when I did, getting to see her grow up. So she's probably my most temperamental snake right now. I'm not sure why that changed over the years. She might just be getting old and grumpy, but she can hiss loud enough that it's shaking the stack of cages over there. So I think I don't know if you guys can see this on camera, but if we get her in the right lighting, she has a lot of rainbow colors on her, which is awesome for being really, really dark. She still has a lot of color on her if she's in the right lighting. But these are, I believe they're still on the endangered species list in South America, down in Argentina. I'm not 100% sure if they fell off of that category yet, so, you know, it's kind of like the green anacondas. I really doubt that they can be imported into the States because of that law. So I think that's one reason why the pricing has skyrocketed, because you'd have to find a special people that are actually breeding them instead of importing them in. So it makes it a little bit more difficult for the projects, I would assume. But we'll put her back and we'll check out some of the babies. Alright, so I know a lot of you guys are excited to see her. This is my newest addition in the boas. This is the Moonglow. So I just had her for the past couple of days. I'm going to try to get her to eat here on the next video. But she is crazy looking. So 2020 was told. Definitely looks 2020-ish. I love she looks crazy. She's yellowy, white, purpley. She's got a lot of purple on her saddles, a lot of whites in between the breaks of the saddles. She's got a really yellow body on her. Awesome looking head. Her belly is white. So a lot of these do change colors. So the snows and the moonglows, they should become a very, very vibrant yellow while keeping the bright whites on the patterns on the tail. And then I even think I've seen some where even the saddles are white, so it's vibrant yellow, white, yellow, white. So she should look really, really cool. But if she stays kind of like this darker yellow and bright whites and purples, that would be awesome too. So I really haven't held her that much. Took a couple pictures of her, but just trying to let her settle into the room, get adjusted, and she's actually doing really well. She hasn't hissed at me, which is good. She's not striking at me, so I'm not sure if the person who had her handled her at all, but she is definitely a gorgeous snake, and I cannot wait until she grows up. So I definitely overloaded pictures of her on my Instagram over the last couple of days. So if you want to check out more pictures of her, you guys can always look there. but she will be shown a lot in the future. Of course, I'll keep you guys updated on her growth, how she's feeding, and then we'll get now into more of the other boas that I have. Alright, so this will be the one of the 2 true red tails that I do own. So this is the Syrian Red Tail, and she was born in 2016, and she's feeding on small rats right now. It took her a while to get up to size, which seems to be common with the true red tails. They're slow growers at first, but they should top out and be much bigger than the common boas, depending on how we feed them and genetics and stuff like that. But so it's nice to have a common in the room and then a true red tail, so we can look at things for different perspectives. So they have a much, predominant markings on the saddles, on the peaks. They're very salmony and pinkish on the belly, and then of course the tails are very, very, very red. So this was one that I bought many years ago, and she was beat up by the previous owner from live rats. As you can see, her tail was eaten a little bit, which has gotten 1,000 times better. Her body has some bite marks on her, up and down just a little bit, but she's doing very, very well with me. She has not missed any meals, sheds out very nicely, and really friendly. Super, super nice snake. Hopefully she can keep her, her nice attitude as she grows up and gets much larger. So this is one that I'm very glad to have. And shockingly, she's the nicest eater. So I don't know if you guys watched previous videos where she's eating. She doesn't even strike at the food. She just opens her mouth and just bites down on it. Sometimes she doesn't even wrap the prey. All those big ones right there, I mean, they're violent. Very violent when they eat, but she is very, very sweet. Try to get her back. So this is the next red tail that I have. This is the Guyana. So you can tell her saddles and her peaks are a little bit different than the Syrians, looking more like puzzle pieces, little, a little bit sharper on the drops on the sides, and she has very, very pink and salmony colors on her, but she's still a baby, so her colors are really going to show a lot more than the adults. But the one thing that I do like about her is how bright red her tail is. And on the red tails, most of the time, as they grow up, the tails get redder and redder. Very, very few have I seen where they get duller or darker, but I think it does happen. I'm not sure if that's a special locality that it happens to, but I really don't think the Surinams or the Guyanas, especially her, she's gonna have any problems keeping that red tail on her. So I struggled with her as a baby. She lost a ton of weight. She was eating, but she couldn't keep any food down, and she got really, really thin. I thought she wasn't gonna make it, but she pulled through. She was a fighter, and I think she's a 2018, so she's very, very small. Trying to get her back up to size. She's eating rat pups very, very frequently now. I think I'm feeding her every 7 days, and zero issues, keeping food down right now. So she's a survivor. She's, she looks awesome, and she should grow up to be, a pretty good size. Hopefully her growth didn't get stunned, but we'll see. So you guys know I love the Moonglow Boa. I love the Albino mottlys, the IMG mottlys, the regular mottlys, jungle mottlys. I just love how they look. And I say this all the time, and a lot of people don't, but you know, everything comes down to personal preference on the different morphs and the different colorations and stuff like that. So I just like how her patterns are just squared off almost perfectly on her back. I love the tail markings, the sides, how it's, you know, it looks like it's a layered cake on her. And of course, you know, all the way up and down her body is just a perfect pattern with the squares. I just really like how that looks personally. I would not mind getting another motley. If I did, it would be the IMG or the albino, because I really like the albino snakes. But just adding in that awesome pattern to the albino would just be super, super awesome. But she's getting a little wild right now. Haven't had her out in a couple days, so she's definitely wanting to explore. She's getting big. She's getting a lot of good size on her from the beginning of this year, bumping her up to pretty large small rats. Pretty much when I get the bag of smalls, I try to find the biggest ones, and then I give those to her. So I like that solid line right there too. But she definitely looks like she's about to poop, so we'll put her back because I don't want to get pooped on. But she definitely looks awesome. And she's also really, really nice too. I haven't had any issues with her hissing at me or striking at me or anything like that. And all the babies that I have, I don't have problems with that either. It's mainly just the common boa and then definitely the Argentine. Alright, so I'm really excited to show you this girl right here. This is the Jungle Hypo Pastel, and she just shed out. So her colors are looking very, very nice. Super bright on her tail, which I'm really excited that she shed today so I can show you guys, you know, what her natural colors look like other than her being in blue or in the shed process. So very bright orange with the black circles around her tail patterns, and her body is really, really orangey and pinkish, which is awesome. A lot of colors going on with her. You see the jungle stripe going down the middle of her body, a little bit on her tail. But she's a 2019 and she's very tiny. I don't know if it's because I kept her on mice for too long, and it's going to take her a little bit of time to get a little bit bigger, because that Moonglow is a 2020 and it's way bigger than her. I mean, look how tiny her head is compared to a 2020 snake. So I'm really not sure what the deal is on that. Could be because I started her and left her on smaller meals, and then the Moonglow jumped up to rats a little bit sooner. But I do feed her now rat pups, so she's growing very quickly, although it might not look like she's growing that fast, but she's definitely growing. She sheds very frequently, probably once a month, maybe 2 months, but very glad she is in the room with me and cannot wait to see what she looks like as she gets older. I really hope she keeps her coloration on her sides and on her tail. So far in her shed, she's just been getting brighter and brighter. Who knows what will happen as an adult, but she is really, really cool looking. Really curious and really fast too, trying to hold on to her. So I like her at the bottom of her tail where the orange kind of, you know, drapes over a little bit on her white scales, which is awesome. So that's it. I believe that is all of the boas in the room. I do have a lot of them. Like I said, I'm going to leave the green anacondas to another video, even though they are in the boa family. I think I'll pair them with the Burmese video. So hopefully you guys enjoyed seeing all of my boa constrictors. If you guys have any questions about them, let me know. And again, I really appreciate the support from everybody, all the people watching the videos, subscribing, all the good comments. But All right, that is it. I'll see you guys on the next video, which will be a feeding video, and she should be feeding as well. So that should be really exciting. A lot of snakes to feed now, a lot. All right, see you guys on the next video.